What a game, what a player. Jim Bowden joining us here at CBS Sports HQ, our front office insider. Jim, I always feel smarter after listening to you break things down. So break down that at bat where Judge got 60 for me.
Yeah, it was interesting because all night the Pittsburgh Pirates pitching staff did a really good job of pitching to him. They basically were throwing everything under his knees, mostly breaking balls. Aaron Judge did a good job of not really chasing too much. But earlier in the game, a couple of ground ball outs. Why? Because the ball was under the strike zone. He also drew a walk, didn't want to chase out of the zone, but they gave him nothing. And you could tell he was focused the entire game, but he was looking for something elevated. And when the Pirates got an 8-4 lead in the bottom of the ninth, for the first time all night, the first pitch was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball by Will Crowe up in the zone, and he took it. And I sat there and said, oh my gosh, that was the pitch. And I thought to myself, 8-4 lead, they're going to challenge him. They're not going to pitch him as tough as they have the entire night. And that's what happened. Will Crowe threw another one, 93 up, and Aaron Judge does what he does when he sees an elevated fastball. He destroyed it for that record-tying home run. What an incredible feat. And you mentioned Triple Crown. I mean, let's take it a step further. This is the quintuple crown because it's average, home runs, RBIs, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage. He leads in all 5 categories on his way to edging out Shohei Ohtani for MVP. But I want to put in perspective what this means. Aaron Judge is 6'7". Babe Ruth was 6'2". Roger Maris was 6 feet. That extra 5 to 7 inches in the strike zone makes it that much more difficult to accomplish this kind of feat. And remember, back when Babe Ruth hit his home runs, pitchers were throwing 88, 90 miles an hour. Nowadays, he's got to do it against 98 to 102 mile-an-hour fastballs, against nasty breaking balls. Babe Ruth never had to face this kind of stuff. And oh, by the way, back then, Babe Ruth would get to face the pitcher in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning when he got tired and didn't have the same stuff and couldn't locate. Not Aaron Judge. In this day and age, we have all these relievers that come in and throw 100. So what he's doing right now is one of the most remarkable things we've ever seen in the sport. And his name forever will be in the same sentence as Maris and Ruth.
Yeah, great perspective there, Jim. And you talk about the modern player and the type of player that Judge is physically. Few guys can relate, but his teammate Giancarlo Stanton is one of them. So you have Judge there tying Babe Ruth, getting them in position. You have Giancarlo Stanton there with the walk-off. Now, we know health has been an issue for him, but when he is healthy, how is Cashman able to plan? How is Aaron Boone able to plan to have him in the lineup and potentially a postseason run here?
They need him balanced at the plate, and they need his back eye to be focused on the pitcher and not angled away from the pitcher like it's been. Last night, he was off balance the entire night, did not look good. But after Judge hit the home run, the crowd went crazy, the team was down. Giancarlo Stanton had his most balanced at bat that I have seen since May. Now remember what he did in May. He hit 301 with 7 homers and 21 RBIs. That's the dominant player he can be. He hit 24 home runs in the first half of this year. He's had 3 in the second half because of injuries, and he hasn't gotten his timing and mechanics down. If Giancarlo Stanton can get hot at the end of the year, and you've got the Twin Towers between him and Judge, they will be difference makers come October.
Judge may be the home run king when it's all said and done in the American League. Giancarlo Stanton, the exit velo king. 23 balls, at least 115 this season. Judge, Vlad Jr., and O'Neal Cruz tied for the second most with 21 combined. Lost in the celebration of this win, Jim, Harrison Bader delivering at times in his Yankee debut, although there are some fans that actually booed him, and he said afterwards, I think Jeter said it best, fans boo because they want to cheer. I'm going to go out there and do my best to give them something to cheer for. What did you think of Bader's debut?
Well, he had a tremendous debut for the Yankees, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. He was running on a pitch to try to steal a base. The ball was put in play, but he prevented a double play because of his speed. He also made a tremendous base running play on a base hit in front of Brian Reynolds in center field. He read it really well off of the bat and was able to score. Most base runners would have held up at second base waiting to see if the ball was dropped, but Bader read it extremely well. I was texting with Brian Cashman last night, the GM of the Yankees, and I wasn't texting him about Judge or Stanton. I was texting him about Bader. He's going to be a difference maker for the New York Yankees the rest of the way in October. This is a guy this year stole 15 bases in 17 attempts. He won the Gold Glove Award in center field in the National League a year ago. And over the last 3 years, no one has more outs above average, not one outfielder in either league, than Harrison Bader does. His uniform is always dirty by the national anthem. Yankee fans are going to love him. Look, the bat's not what's going to carry him, but the defense, the base running, the speed, and the grittiness is. And although the Cardinal fans have been celebrating all year on their acquisition of Jordan Montgomery for Bader, and they won the trade in the regular season, don't be surprised if the Yankees are the team that wins this trade come the postseason.
Yeah, we had that conversation about a week or so after that trade, and everyone was, oh, Jordan Montgomery, why they even make that trade? We are starting to see the fruits of that trade from a Yankee perspective with Harrison Bader, Jim. All right, getting to, of course, a division race that we've been talking about at length, but deservedly so. The Mets and Braves continue their fight and their race. Why is this going to continue to be very entertaining the final 2 weeks here?
Because these teams are so evenly matched and neither team wants to lose, right? I mean, the Mets have won 6 in a row. The Braves have won 5 in a row. They both have 55 losses. They're both going to win 100 games. And last night for the New York Mets, the big boys stepped up. Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor drove in all 7 runs for the Mets. And that's what you want. When you're in a pennant race like that, you want the big boys to step up and do what they're getting paid to do. And that's what the 2 big hitters did last night. That takes a lot of pressure off of everybody else. On the other side for the Atlanta Braves, it's the opposite story, right? It's all about the rookies. And we've watched Spencer Strider develop into an ace. You got the 2 rookies, Michael Harris II and Vaughn Grissom, that are both hitting .306 this year and getting on base at a ridiculous level, which has really lengthened the Braves lineup. I think we're all looking at the schedule, right? Milwaukee is going to play the New York Mets one more time, and then the Mets have 3 at Oakland, right? And then they got 2 at home against the Marlins, and then guess what happens? September 30th to October 2nd, that's right, the Mets are going to Atlanta for 3, and that's probably when this division is going to be won or lost. Neither team wants to be the wild card team. They don't want to have to waste their starting pitchers in a 2 out of 3 series before the next round, so there's a lot at stake. And this pennant race reminds me a lot last year of the Dodgers and Giants, who ended up with the 2 most wins in baseball, and it went right down to the absolute wire, and the Giants had the best regular season record, and later the Dodgers knocked them off in the playoffs. I mean, this is mama drama in baseball, and it's so fun to be able to watch it every single night.
And if I'm not mistaken, that 3-game set will be on a weekend, so maximum coverage Friday, Saturday, Sunday for Mets and Braves down the road. Jim, appreciate it as always. Quality baseball time. And as we take a look at the slate, I can tell you that Sportsline gives the Mets a 19% edge over Atlanta to come away with the division. Caesars also favoring the Mets -220 versus the champs is +180. Both Braves and Mets play some day baseball. You see Pittsburgh at New York there with Aaron Judge, 1 shy of Maris' single season AL home run record as well as Yankees record. And we showed you there Cleveland and Chicago. Guardians holding that 5-game lead in the Central.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.